No, don't adjust your YouTube settings. Your phone is not crooked. It is fine. I want to talk to you about something, gang. I got demonetized over last weekend. Turns out, I guess, saying things like teenagers using protection and shit, they frown on for advertisers. I get it, but maybe it's good for you because you don't have to sit through commercials now, but it may be a little harder for you to find my videos. If it is, just subscribe. I'm trying to stay on schedule, putting one out every Sunday. Occasionally I'll throw one out on a Wednesday or a short out on a Wednesday, but for the most part I'm going to try and stay on course and do them on Sundays so you guys can keep up. Anyway, like I said, I'm not worried about it. I think in the 4 years I've been on YouTube, I've been monetized for 2, and we've made maybe $130 over that 2-year period. I've given it all to Jace, and because he used to do my editing, but now he's kind of out of the YouTube phase. He doesn't care about it anymore either, and so I'm not going to worry about being monetized. Like I said, the only thing great about it is you don't have to sit through commercials anymore. The only thing bad about it is it may make it harder to find my videos. So just keep in mind the Sunday rule. I'll try and stick to it, and every Wednesday or every other Wednesday I'll try and throw up a quickie video or a short or something, guys. Thanks for staying tuned. What do you think? Make a wheelie popper out of it? Wow. Steering wheel's done. Just kidding. Bob would have a cow. A cow! If I painted that baby white and purple. Look cool though, don't it? This is one I did a while back, guys, for my next upcoming build. It's a bubble top, like the Ed Roth style show rods of the 60s. So I wanted it a little different than everybody else's. I didn't forget about our little puppy. Don't worry. We're back on it now that that red teardrop's done and gone. Well, leaving. We got to finish up a few spots on the floor back here. Finish up a hole in the bed right there that somebody found it. And there's a couple things in the roof I'm going to dolly out in the next video. This video, I'm just going to upload some lost footage of when I was messing around with this side panel and that floor over there, the holes in the floor, welding them up. I was going through my SIM card and actually got some of the footage to work and play, so a short little video clip just so Rob has documentation of that side being cut out, and well, you can see the inner rocker panel getting filled in with metal, and then it cut out again and goes back to where it's almost, the bodywork's almost done. So sorry for the lost footage, but as a bonus, we do have a little bit to watch. Getting back on it this week. I will get, like I said, the roof and those things buttoned up inside here, that little things here and there, the seatbelt holes, we're going to pay some attention to them. Of course, the spot putty will need blocked out, and then we're going to wet sand the dash back down and cut it in with some sealer, and just keep plucking away. We are also going to get started on putting it on the lift and paying attention to underneath anything that needs done before we start assembly again, because the next step is going to be getting this thing back on its axles. We got that Mustang rim we're going to put in back there, get some leaf spring setups done on it, shocks, brake lines, and getting it a roller again, steering. Before I cut into all that, I do have some footage of me redoing his steering wheel. The 2,000 cracks that were in that thing, we got it done and primed. It does have to shrink for 30 days before I can lay any primer sealer on it, so we're gonna have to we had to let it sit a little bit, so it's over in the corner, but it is ready to be sprayed. I just wanted to touch base and give you all an update on this thing, and here's some of that lost footage. Enjoy. What's that you say, little girl? You want to go for a drive and shoot some more flames? Okay. Let's go to lunch. Hey gang, look, we have power. Yay. Now if y'all remember this thing, this is where we left off. We're gonna put in Brian East's panel there. I did have to make a panel for the back behind there. The bottom edge of the inner rocker was rotted out. You can probably see a hole right there by the vice grips. I still have to put a patch in there. I just took a piece of leftover metal and 90 braked it right there. Cut the old rust away. I left the crimp lip down at the bottom there. I just cut right above it. It's in really solid shape. It's actually like 2 pieces of metal, so it's solid there. That is galvanized metal behind there. It is a big no-no to weld the galvanized metal without treating it first. If you remember, I had a sandblaster come in and sandblast some of the parts on the truck that he could get to. However, this had a panel over it, of course, so he couldn't get in there with his sandblaster. He did get the backside, and that led, revealed all the holes that we had, so we knew we were going to do some of this repair. I went in there with a wire wheel. Of course, I had a respirator on. I had the shop open and 2 fans going. I also drank some milk beforehand. That is a old theory that if you drink milk before you work on any kind of galvanized, it doesn't replace a respirator or do anything, but it's just an added bonus. Look it up. I don't know if it's true or not. My grandpa told me that. My uncle told me that. So I've always done it. And I've never had any kind of problem welding galvanized. I did take a wire wheel and a grinder flappy disc and ground for days on that. And then I sprayed and washed it off. And there we stand right now. That metal piece is in there. Like I said, that's a 90. I'm going to go ahead and start tacking in the top there. I'll jump around quite a bit. And we'll go from there. Yes, you can see. This has a little Bondo in it still right along there. It looks like somebody, whenever they did do the body work, they must have went over this whole truck and did a skim coat. It's pretty straight still, and it doesn't look to be maybe but a 1/16 of an inch thick. I'm not going to remove all that Bondo, guys. If there's a problem spot, I'll work it out. But otherwise, I'm just going to board file this whole side after I get this panel in and kind of blend my filler into that filler. For the most part, I missed this bead lip right here. Bead roll for strength in there. I came in under it there. I'm going to go over and put a bunch of tacks back over these tacks and next to them, and then I'll slowly fill it in, and I'm not going to clean up the weld. I'm going to leave it rough. I'll splatter spray it with some galvanized coating, kind of protect it again, and she's going to be good for another 20, 25, 30 years, whatever. Like I said, I took a lot of time in wire wheeling and cleaning it, spraying it. If I could have got a hold of my sandblaster guy, I would have had him come out and re-hit this side for me, but I couldn't get a hold of him. And we didn't have power here for a couple of weeks. They've been working on the roads, and we had power, but it was so sporadic that if I worked for 3 or 4 hours, I'd have been lucky. It is hot, guys. It is very hot. Flange tool. It also has a hole punch on the other side. It is air powered. And I did put a few holes in the bottom of this panel here where I'm going to plug weld it up to this lip here. I also left a hole on each end to water drain in case any water does get trapped up in there. Once I get it in place, I will go up in there and drill those 2 water drain holes all the way through this piece too. You can see, finished plug welding all that, or stitch welding all that. Coated it with some weld-through primer. I'm going to let it dry for a little bit. And then I'm going to get this panel lined up and get her on there. Alright, we're going to get that steering column out of our way. That e-brake handle out of our way. There's a couple seat belt floor mounts there. And you can see the one rust hole there. And then that one turned into a little bit longer rust hole. There's actually one at the corner of the engine house, and then there's one right there in the center of the screen I might have to repair. Along with that seam right along the engine lip is cracked loose from the back wall. We're going to have to wire wheel that some more and grind it out. Fill it with weld. Well, it turned into one spot there to all the way across the back. Let's see where that seam came apart. Here, when this bed was pushed forward and curled under, it kind of bent it all downward, And then over the years, that thing's probably flopped back and forth until it actually cracked. I actually went and took my 4.5-inch grind cutoff wheel and cut along that seam again. And we're just going to make a 90-degree bend from here down and over and extend under this. And then, of course, we'll have to re-drill our holes, which that one's gone anyway. But it'll extend under that to give us an L bracket, the length of the back of the cab there, or weld a full bead on the floor there. And we should be solid again. You can see there's some kind of funky breakthrough there that I didn't see before, and it looks like somebody puttied them in. Sorry about the great camo. A couple dents we're going to have to work out, but so easy. Probably didn't even need this damn thing, but do it the right way, I guess. Didn't even get to fight that one. Ripped me off on some cussing. Didn't even get a chance to cuss. Say any bad words. This thing wanted to come forward. Wants a new steering wheel, doesn't it? And this baby. Crack, 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 crack. This was Detroit. A lot of people be happy about all that crack. We're gonna put this in the for sale pile. Or the junk pile. There's a little horn button. Better save that for this guy. Beep beep. Next up, we're gonna start cleaning out that cracks and get my Eastwood kit out. I have an Eastwood steering wheel repair kit. The Eastwood steering wheel repair kit. You clean all this out, and it's an epoxy. This has a lot of cracks in it. But we'll just take my cutoff wheel. We'll cut that out. There's a big chip missing here. I'll clean the metal under there. Technically, besides people pushing on them and pulling on them to get in and out, that breaks it. Cut each one of them cracks a little wider open and V them out, so to speak. Make it a V shape, and then we'll fill that with the epoxy. We'll clean it first really good and treat it. Wire wheel what we have to. Got about 50 cracks to fix. Normally, if the steering wheel was this bad, I wouldn't even do it, guys. I'd probably turn it into some kind of custom one, cut this off, make it a leg stabber or something, kind of like this one here. Now you can see why I called it a leg stabber, a knee stabber. This one here is for an upcoming project that I'm building for myself. Some of y'all know Ed Roth. You know he built some bubble cars. And those are cars with a giant bubble for a roof. And I'm going to build one next. Oh, yeah, baby. phone button isn't in bad shape. It does have some pitting. Looks like somebody might have painted it silver at one time. I'm gonna take it over to my buffing pad and hit it and see if I can't get some of that off. And see how good she looks. It's pot metal. Over the years, it's pitted a little bit, but it ain't too bad. It ain't peeling. So let's polish it up and see what we got.